Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this evening's edition of Reporter's Notebook. Today, I am joined by Miss Caroline. Hello.
Hey, Victoria. I mean, it's been a while since I have been in this chair, so I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. Yeah, that's that. When was the last time you did a Reporter's Notebook? What was the last story? Do you remember?
No, honestly, it's been months since just because I'm normally running around toward the end of the day when
Yeah.
since I'm nightside, most people are winding down their day and I'm just getting started. So it's been honestly since like probably the first couple of months when I started back in
Right?
June. So it's been a while.
It has been a while, and I thank you for joining me on this evening's edition of Reporter's Notebook because it's the end of my day, but it's the start of yours.
Right?
Yeah. How do you like being like an evening reporter? Is it difficult or what's that about?
It's definitely different since, most people are leaving at 6:30 after we finish our 5:30, and 6 o'clock shows. So things start to get really quiet around here after that 6 o'clock show ends. And so, it's kind of hard sometimes because I don't have as much instruction a lot of times. I'm kind of just forced to put myself out there and trial by fire, but it has caused me to learn a lot. So that's been something I've been really grateful for, and it's made me a better reporter for sure.
And since the by the time that the 6 p.m. Evening newscast is finished, our managers are pretty much out for the day. Is that is that a little bit more stress relieving for you?
Okay, honestly, yeah, it honestly does calm things down because at night there are only like five people in the newsroom. It's me, Ken and Angie, the anchors, sports people, and producers. So it's literally like five or six people in here. There's not as much talking, which don't get me wrong, I love talking to people, I love interacting, but it does make it easier to get work done when I'm not so distracted, trying to socialize with everyone. But yeah, it gets really calm around here after the 6:30 comes around.
I can definitely when it comes to the distractions, ever since I started working from home, it's a lot more quiet. And yeah, I get my work done and there's less distractions, but I mean, I don't get to see you. I don't get to talk with you as much. So,
Exactly. And
yeah.
isn't that just a fun part of your day to be able to
It
interact
is.
with everyone? That's what makes things seem a little bit more normal than they are in this obviously not normal time that we're in. Still being
Exactly.
able to come into the station and interact, get some human interaction that we might not normally be getting since we can't go out as much.
Right. And one thing, we both haven't been reporters in a world where there's been no COVID.
And isn't that crazy?
That's a little
And
crazy.
we also graduated college in a world, well, graduated. I don't know, what your situation was, but we
Yeah.
didn't get to have a real ceremony or anything.
Same.
So we also graduated in a world where there was COVID. So
Yeah.
it's honestly been interesting. I think we'll be better for it in the long run because we have been forced to learn so much, in this time when even reporters who've been reporters for years, this is so different than what anyone is used to. They're learning so much. So I think we'll be better for it in the end, but I'll be ready for it to get a little bit back to normal someday soon.
I agree with I miss having a social life for sure.
Yes, definitely.
So let's get to the stories that you're doing for today. You already did one, and then you have
Yes.
another one. So what's the one that you already did?
So the first thing that I did today is I went to the Greenville Convention Center on Monday. Biden and the Pitt County Health Department are going to have a large-scale vaccine site, a COVID vaccine site. So I got to go today and kind of see behind the scenes how things are going to work on Monday, and they have put a lot of work into this, and I think it's going to flow. I'll have my fingers crossed that it'll flow pretty smoothly. But when you come in, they'll have you wait in a line, and then they have 26 registration tables. So you wait in a line to get to your registration table. Then after that, you move to the next room to get your vaccine. And then after you get their vaccine, which they said would be probably the quickest part of the entire process, which is funny because you're going to be waiting in a long line just for the vaccine to be really quick. But after you get the shot, you have to go to an observation room to wait around for between 15 and 30 minutes just to make sure you're not having any adverse reaction to the vaccine. But I'll be excited when I can actually get mine, and I think we'll be covering that on Monday, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, that is something that I am. I mean, large scale I can't remember, or I don't know if there is another large scale vaccination site, at least in the East, that I've heard of.
Right. No, I haven't either, which I
Yeah.
mean, I guess kind of makes sense because, Greenville, Pitt County is like a big part of Eastern
Yeah.
North Carolina. So, but I'm sure, once the vaccine becomes more readily available and they start expanding who can actually get it, I'm sure they'll probably be setting some more up around the East as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they set one up at ECU, but
Yeah,
that's
true.
just guess.
Especially once the students will be eligible to get it.
Exactly. Okay, so besides the vaccination, what is your second story for the day?
So my main story that I'm doing today that will be on tonight at 10 on the Eastern North Carolina CW and 11 on WNCT is talking about today Joe Biden is supposed to be signing a new executive order that targets food insecurity, which is something a lot of people are having issues with right now with COVID. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of people are finding themselves in the position where they need food. And so I talked with the food bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, and I have a couple of notes about what the director was telling me.
Oh, you're prepared.
Yeah,
I love
well,
it.
I want to get the numbers right.
Okay.
He was telling me that food bank has seen a 38% increase since the start of the pandemic. They have people in line for food that never expected that they would be the ones needing to receive food. People have been laid off, furloughed, and people who are working multiple part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And he says they've been distributing a record amount of food since March 16th, which is kind of, the day when COVID, like we really started to realize that it was real. And then he said that so there are 2 branches in Eastern North Carolina, one in Greenville and one in New Bern. And he says since July 1st, those 2 branches have distributed over 20 million pounds of food. So I'm like, just trying to think, that seems like a whole lot of food to me. And then he was also talking about, luckily, there is the need, but they also do have the products on the shelves and the supply that they need, thankfully, because the U.S. Department of Agriculture has been sending large volumes of food to these food banks and food pantries since restaurants haven't been able to accept as much food as they normally would have since, not as many people are going out to eat. And, for a while, restaurants had to be takeout only and that kind of thing, so.
And I do kind of want to give a shout out to a food bank or a soup kitchen that I did a story on, which was Joy Soup Kitchen. And I don't know if you've seen this, Caroline, while you've been here, because I know you're also new to the Greenville area. But there's some sort of like camaraderie around local business owners. There's a lot of restaurant owners here in Greenville, and they support each other. They just like. If someone needs something, I remember when I was covering the Joy Soup Kitchen story, one restaurant, I think Villa Verde, would like donate like mats. And mats, I didn't realize how essential like mats are, because if you're working in a kitchen, you can easily slip and fall. So these were like just like simple mats. And I used to work at Chick-fil-A, I should know that, but whatever. But so I kind of do want to get a little bit more into the way that we do things here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but can you explain what you mean when you say main story and the other story that you did?
Okay, yeah. So normally in a day, reporters will do kind of a smaller story and then they'll have their main story. So like today, my smaller story was the vaccine the vaccine site that's going to be opening on Monday. And instead of getting interviews and that kind of thing, it was just like a short 50-second video, and the anchors will read the information on the news tonight at 5 and 6. My longer story, I'm actually getting interviews, getting footage, and talking to people and putting together more of a story where I'm narrating it instead of the anchors.
And is it, I mean, I kind of do the same thing, except I do like one story where it's one topic, one story, but 2 different versions. Is it difficult getting 2 different stories for a newscast every single day?
It can be difficult, especially if your interviews are scheduled for later in the day. Like, I know I don't run into that problem as much because I don't even come in until 2:30. So, they can't push back much more than that. Most places close around 5 or 6. So, but like if I'm ever working day side, if your interview isn't scheduled until 2 and it has to be in for the 5 and 6 o'clock show, there is a little bit of stress involved with, trying to get everything together, and you want to make sure it's good and that you're happy with it and proud of it and it makes sense and is giving the right information to the viewers. So it can be a little bit, nerve-wracking sometimes to get all that stuff in, but we always make it work, so.
That's right. We have no other choice,
Yeah, exactly.
do we? Yeah.
We get paid to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Caroline, for joining me. It sucks that, working from home, I can't see you as much as I used to, but it's all for our safety, and once we all get vaccinated, we can party it up here in Greenville.
I can't wait.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this evening's edition of Reporter's Notebook. Be sure to check out Caroline's story on our evening newscast, and of course it will be available at WNCT.com. All right, everyone, good night.